In the headlines, Kano State government adamant on shutting down private schools for hiking school fees. Tribunal declares Minister of Labour and Employment as winner of senatorial election. United Arab Emirates lifts visa ban on Nigeria as President Tinubu secures landmark deal. Also in the news, death toll in Libya flood reaches 3,000. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin the update in Kano as the state government has vowed to shut down private schools in the state for hiking school fees. Now, the special advisor to the Kano State Governor on private school affairs told Trust TV that the government has warned private schools across the state to maintain the existing school fees template given the current economic hardship in the country. Correspondent Idris Jibrin has more on the story.
After nearly 2 months long holiday, schools have finally resumed. But this time around, the resumption is trailed by a series of controversy between private school owners and those who regulate them.
The problem is simply the fact that he is going on air, embarrassing, intimidating and harassing our members. And also he has physically and otherwise at various forums done a lot of things that we feel are not becoming of his position and also do not befit school owners.
Actually, there is no problem, but probably they do not understand my mission. They do not know why the governor appointed me. I conducted this exercise over years. I was chairman task force private school, second time, third time, fourth time. And the fifth time I was appointed the chairman of a board of this place.
The private schools are accusing the special advisor to Governor Abba Kabir for harassment and intimidation of their members over attempts to increase school fees, which they believe is the only way to sustain their services, while Kano State government believed otherwise, especially on issues regarding to law and order.
I'm proud to say that no public school can compete favorably with our members. The services we provide is equal, if not better, for most other public schools that are around. And we can compete favorably with schools within and outside Kano State. So at the time when we are doing our best within our resources, all of these people set up with their own resources, their own funds, to set up their schools and run them.
The law was established or assented by the former governor on the 28th of May 2014. And this law requires a lot of things. That the school owners should have good environment, laboratory, toilets, no compulsion of increment of school fees, no compulsion of buying uniforms, textbooks, and so on and so forth. But they are only interested in continuing with their illegality. That is by evading the law.
According to the Association of Private School Owners, 80% of private schools in Kano have not been able to pay salary for the past 2 months, and that 1 in every 5 schools have closed down due to paucity of funds.
80% of our members are in rented buildings. Go around and find out what is the rent now. So if you look at the realities on ground, does it make sense to just make a blanket statement that, for example, if you are talking about school fees, that nobody should increase school fees, for example?
Nigeria is in economic crisis now. Workers' salary has not been increased. Pensioners, market women, everybody is suffering. Why should we allow them to increase school fees now?
While the schools now resumes fully, Kano State government assures to sanction anyone that increased school fees, arguing that everyone is being affected by the current economic reality and that parents should not be at the receiving end. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has reiterated the commitment of the Tinubu administration to the welfare of Nigerians through its programs and policies. The Vice President made the pronouncement on Monday in Sokoto, while inaugurating the distribution of palliatives worth 5.1 billion naira by the state government. The vice president, who commended the Sokoto state government for the initiative, urged other state governments across the country to emulate the gesture. He expresses the appreciation of the federal government to the Sokoto state government for the donation of operational vehicles to security agencies in the state. The vice president also commended Bua Group, a cement production company in the state, for donating 10 patrol vehicles to security agencies in the state. The vice president, in a related development, also commissioned Rijiyar flyover constructed by the state government at the cost of 5.3 billion naira.
And the provision of palliatives to cushion the effects of the withdrawal of petrol subsidy is also a very, very welcome development for our people, especially the poor and the vulnerable. But I want to assure the people of Sokoto, we were here for the campaigns in this Giginya Memorial Stadium, and the President made a commitment that inshallah when elected, he will work day and night to promote the welfare of the Nigerian citizenry. He is a leader with a great deal of empathy, a leader imbued with a great deal of passion and compassion, a leader who sleeps with the people of Nigeria at heart and wakes up with the people of Nigeria at heart. The government is coming up with very robust programs to ameliorate the sufferings of the Nigerian people.
Now, the National State Assembly's Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Jos Plateau State has sacked the senator representing Plateau South Senatorial District, Napoleon Bali, and member representing Bariki Ladi, Riom Federal Constituency, Peter Gyengdeng. Now, the tribunal, in its ruling, declared the former governor of Plateau State, Lalong Simon, of the All Progressives Congress, and Form Delop of the Labour Party, who came second in the February 25th National Assembly elections in the state, as winners. Ado Musa tells us more.
Both APC and LP candidates had asked the tribunal to nullify the election of Napoleon Bali and Peter Gyengdeng on the ground that the PDP doesn't have structure and therefore could not file a candidate for the election. In their separate rulings at the court, Justice Omaka Eleko and Justice Muhammad Tukur nullified the election of the two PDP candidates because of the party's failure to respect the order of a Jos High Court to conduct ward congresses before the last general elections. Counsel to the parties speak on the judgment.
The court held that PDP was not qualified to have even contested in that election. Therefore, all the votes given to the PDP were wasted votes. So we give God the glory. We listen with rapt attention to the judgment, and it is in line with the law. Therefore, justice has been served.
Well, like we say as lawyers, the tribunal has spoken. We know in law, whatever the tribunal, the court holds, that is the decision before sin is set aside or affirmed. Now, the good thing is that this is a tribunal of first instance. We have one more step, and the third step is the Court of Appeal.
The justices therefore said the evidence presented by the APC and LP candidates were relevant and admissible, adding that all the vote cards for the PDP candidates were invalid. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Well, Adamawa State has recorded another tragic boat mishap on Monday in Gurin, a suburb of Fufore local government area of the state, as a boat carrying passengers capsized in the river. Now, this is coming just days after a boat accident claimed the lives of 8 persons in the Jua River. On the latest development, the victims, mostly women and children, are returning from farms and a naming ceremony when the wooden boat sank. The Executive Secretary of the Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency, Muhammad Suleiman, confirmed the incident while making a statement to newsmen. As the search for the victims continues, observers say the unfortunate incident serves as a reminder of the dangers that usually arises from water transportation, especially in rural communities where safety measures are often lacking. In a related development, 6 more bodies of farmers who lost their lives in a boat mishap in Gbajibo, a community of Mokwa local government area of Niger State, have been recovered. Trust TV reports that 16 of the people who lost their lives were members of a single family. Now, a member of the affected family, Kashi Mokwa, speaking to Trust TV via phone, says the deceased included her biological daughter, grandchildren, and other members of the family. Mokwa explained that they were going to a farm when the boat collided with an underwater stump. She is appealing to the government to come to their rescue by providing better and bigger boats as well as life jackets in order to avert further mishaps. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has warned contractors handling rehabilitation of 135 roads in the capital city as well as civil engineering services against contract variations. Now, the minister gave the warning while inaugurating the projects in Abuja on Monday, promising that the projects would be completed in 6 months. He says the FCT would pay all contractors to enable the completion of projects within the agreed timeline. He also warned the Permanent Secretary of the FCTA against bringing proposals for variation after contracts have been signed. The minister urged residents to support the contractors to enable the completion of projects on time. He also solicited the support of traditional rulers to ensure that the youths and members of their communities support the contractors to deliver the job on time. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the President of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, on Monday in Abu Dhabi finalized a historic agreement which has resulted in the immediate cessation of the visa ban placed on Nigerian travelers. According to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngilali, with the agreement, both Etihad Airlines and Emirates Airlines are immediately set to resume flight schedules into and out of Nigeria. Ngilale said that with the negotiations between the two heads of state on the immediate restoration of flight activity through these two airlines and between the two countries, it does not also involve any immediate payment by the Nigerian government. The deal, according to Ngilale, also includes new investment opportunities by the investment arms of the government of the United Arab Emirates, worth billions of dollars in the Nigerian economy across multiple sectors, including defense, agriculture, and others. He informed that President Tinubu also successfully negotiated a joint new foreign exchange liquidity program between the United Arab Emirates and Nigeria, which will be announced in details in the coming weeks. According to the presidential spokesperson, the president commended the UAE president for his friendship and determined efforts to join hands with Nigeria to fully normalize and reset to excellence the standard of relations between Nigeria and the UAE. You're watching Trust News Updates. Coming up ahead after the break. Police in Abuja move to mitigate illegal scavenging in the FCT to improve security. More on this coming up ahead after the break.
Hello and welcome to Book Review on Trust TV, where we talk to African and international authors.
You see, if you're reading a Chinua Achebe book, you can almost hear the Igbo behind the English.
From memory, I was able to come up with that. Of course, I also had to do research. You know, I tried to tie it to colonial era. I wanted to show the impact they had in on the Fulani culture when they came.
Teacher librarians are those who are librarians, but they also teach. They teach the use of library, the use of books. Because if you don't teach, these children, make it part of them, they will not be in love with it. And then you have to select, the kind of book that would encourage them to read.
Welcome back to the news, and thank you very much for staying with us. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories at this hour. The Kano State government is adamant on shutting down private schools that hike school fees in the state. And the tribunal declares Minister of Labour and Employment as winner of senatorial election in Plateau State. Moving on to some of the day's other news now. Daily Trust, an arm of Media Trust Group, on Monday called for nominations of exemplary personalities for the coveted African of the Year 2023 award. Nominations are open from 11th of September to midnight of 16th of October, a statement signed by the Group Executive Officer of the Media Trust Group, Munir Gorzo. Mr. Gorzo says ideal nominees should be, quote, ordinary Africans who have made extraordinary contributions to humanity in any field from any part of the continent. The award consists of 3 components: a permanent plaque, a certificate of merit, and a cash reward in aid of the awardee for their chosen charity project, according to the statement. The eventual winner will be selected by a 6-member prize committee chaired by Festus Mogae, a former president of Botswana. Other members of the committee who represent Africa's regional blocs include Ambassador Mona Umar from North Africa, Amadou Matara Ba from West Africa, Gwen Lister from Southern Africa, and Pastor Rigobert Minani Bihuzo from Central Africa. Now, the chairman of the board of directors of Media Trust Group, Kabiru Yusuf, represents the award promoters. Now, the presentation ceremony of the 2023 edition of the African of the Year Award is slated for January 2024 in Abuja. The FCT Police Command has ordered the arrest of scavengers, also known as Babambola, in the nation's capital as part of efforts to curb illegal activities by the scavengers in Abuja. Now, the Police Public Relations Officer of the Police Command, Josephine Ade, disclosed this while speaking with Trust TV on the level of insecurity in the federal capital city. Noel Sampson has more.
The FCT Police Public Relations Officer also said the command is beaming its searchlight on scavengers, also known as Babambola, in the FCT, who are notorious for stealing security lights and vandalizing public properties.
We've been arresting a lot of them. The Commissioner of Police have even made it a mandate. It's part of those mandate that he gave all the divisional police officers to make sure that they arrest. On sighting of these people, they should be arrested. And we've been arresting them, we've been charging most of them to court, we've been parading them. During one of these achievements that I mentioned earlier, you could see that there are some vandals who stole these manholes. We were able to recover some of these manholes. So those are part of the things we are doing. So we advise members of the public on citing these people. You can as well use our command emergency number, call our attention, or even call the attention of the division so that these people will be arrested.
She also spoke on what the FCT Police Command is doing concerning the security situation in the FCT in relation to kidnapping, car theft, attacks and robbery on residents at strategic locations at night.
We discovered that most of the uncompleted buildings is their hideouts. So we raid all these uncompleted buildings. Every divisional police officer has been charged with by the Commissioner of Police to raid all the black spots within his jurisdiction.
She used the opportunity to dish out some security tips for FCT residents to help them avoid being victims of crime.
When you see something, you say something to the police. Let me be clear now. It's not say something to right authority anymore. Say something to the police. Because we find out a lot of people will sit down at the comfort of their homes and make video to create panic. If we are not condemning or we are not ruling out the fact that you saw something and you are trying to alert members of the public, but in the form and ways you alert members of the public may create panic instead of solving the problem.
Security, they say, is everyone's business, hence the need for all to be involved through providing the police with vital information that can lead to crime reduction. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
To Nasarawa State now, where the continuous vandalization of armored cables by vandals has cut off power supply to many parts of Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital. The Nasarawa State House of Assembly, while expressing its displeasure over the trend of developments, is calling on the state government to take proactive measures to curtail the situation. Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullah sent in this report as presented from our studio.
In recent time, different communities in Lafia, Nasarawa State capital, have woken up to find their armored cables in their electric transformers missing as a result of the activities of vandals. These communities have engaged in several protests against the hardship caused by the removal of the armored cables. Bringing the matter under public importance, Solomon Akwashiki, the member representing Lafia constituency, drew the attention of the House to the constant vandalization of armored cables in his constituency.
There are cases of vandalization within Lafia Metropolis, that's the state capital. I've received more than 10 complaints, and I've tried as much to restore light in different community, more than 6 communities, Mr. Speaker. And this issue keep on coming. It will interest you to know the member representing Lafia Obi constituency also participating in restoring light in the community where they vandalized this cable in a transformer. And the question here, Mr. Speaker, who are responsible for vandalization of this cable?
Akwashiki called for urgent steps to be taken to curtail the constant vandalization of the armored cables and other electric facilities in his constituency and the state at large in order to boost the socio-economic activities of the people. Speaking on the Assembly resolution on the matter, Speaker of the Assembly, Ibrahim Balarabi, conveyed the House's displeasure with the constant vandalization of electric armored cables in Lafia and other local government areas of the state.
This House urged the government, as a matter of necessity, takes a measure to address this ugly trend. This House also urged the security agencies to redouble their effort in securing all these facilities for the benefit of our people. Thank you very much.
The Speaker described the situation as unfortunate and uncalled for, as activities of the criminals are affecting power supply and negatively impacting the socio-economic life of the state.
On the international scene, relief convoys are moving from west to east in the divided Libya as the internationally recognized government in Tripoli has declared the eastern region a disaster zone and announced it would be sending help soon. Tripoli Minister Abdul Hamid Bebeba announced on Tuesday that an 8 plane carrying 14 tons of supplies, medicine, equipment and medical personnel is headed to Benghazi to help. Heavy rains and flooding hit an area controlled by Libya's rival Eastern administration based in Benghazi. Now, it estimated the death toll has now reached 3,000 as more than 1,000 bodies have been retrieved in the hardest hit Mediterranean city of Derna. On Monday, Storm Daniel swept eastern Libya, causing 2 dams of the Wadi Derna River to burst and send millions of cubic meters of water downstream to inundate the river plain hitting Derna. Now, communications with the city have been cut off by the storm, which had been gathering information on casualties and damage difficulty. In Europe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Tuesday said electronic financial declarations by officials should immediately be available to the public, vetoing a law that triggered an outcry across Ukraine. Zelensky has stressed the need for transparency during the war, with several corruption scandals leading to the arrest or dismissal of public officials in recent months. More than 80,000 Ukrainians last week signed a petition asking Zelensky to veto a law that will restore mandatory asset declarations for officials but keep them out of the public eye for another year. According to a poll released at the end of July by the Kiev International Institute of Sociology, 89% of Ukrainians consider corruption a serious problem, only second to Russia's invasion. Several corruption scandals have rocked the Defense Ministry in recent months, leading to the resignation of Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov. Since Russia invaded Ukraine in February last year, Zelensky has repeatedly vowed to fight corruption in Ukraine, which is a key demand from Kyiv's Western allies. And in sports, Nigerian striker Taiwo Awoniyi has won Nottingham Forest Player and Goal of the Month award for the month of August. In the announcement made on his Forest website, Awoniyi got 83% of the votes for the Player of the Month award and 38% for the Goal of the Month award. Awoniyi scored 3 goals and has an assist in 4 Premier League games so far this season. In August, he scored 3 goals in 3 matches, becoming only the 3rd African player after Emmanuel Adebayo and Mohamed Salah to score in 7 consecutive Premier League matches. His 9 goals in 7 straight Premier League games saw him become the first Forest player to do so. Now, this subsequently led to an August Premier League Player of the Month nomination. For the Goal of the Month, his run and finish against Manchester United was voted by Forest supporters as the best for the month of August. That was indeed a very good goal. And that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free, as always, to follow us across our social media platform for more content and visit trusttv.com for more news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.